to the Divorce Devil Podcast. I'm David.
And I'm Rachel. Follow us as we dive into all the positive and negatives of post-divorce recovery. Stay tuned for some real and sometimes raw end-of-the-road divorce topics. Please put on your big pants because we're full of honesty, authenticity, and irrefutable truths.
This progressive podcast is for the faint-hearted. Enjoy.
Dave knows what's up.
We're recording, folks. Welcome, everybody out there to Divorce Devil episode 79. Today's the top 10 ways to get a divorce, live in the same house, and have boyfriend, girlfriend. So
relationships,
yes. Top 10.
How to be adult.
Yes.
Dang it, I don't wanna.
We have Melissa on the mic.
Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Melissa. Welcome to the show, Melissa. This is her first time, and hopefully not her last time.
Oh my gosh, I'm just going to listen to her accent the whole
time. Let's ask Melissa to give us a short story of how you came about being divorced.
Okay. Well, I haven't plunged as far as the big D yet. That's the next step. But I'm currently separated from my husband, but we live in the same house, and we both date different people, which is an interesting dichotomy and freaks a lot of people out because theoretically, I think people think you're supposed to be really angsty and angry towards your ex. And I think very often if you haven't healed or aren't willing to heal or aren't willing to see things, that is absolutely where you are. But we have decided that we move in and out of the house, and the kids, we have 2 kids, and that the kids use that as a sacred base for them, which works really well. And thank you. And even sometimes now I step back and think, bloody hell, is that me? Am I really being an adult? Oh my God, I am. So that's kind of exciting. It still has its hurdles and things and challenges, but we decide that the kids have to have somewhere safe. For me, I had always thought that you never stay together for kids because you're then teaching them not to value themselves. And so anyway, that's where I am. So I'm currently at home with my soon-to-be ex-husband. We've been together we met 27 years ago, married 20 years before we decided to separate. So like more than half of my life has been with the same person. So it's intense. But I listened to a record this morning. You know how we all have a record that is a good vibe and grounds us?
Yeah.
So anyway, mine is, and it's ironic really, it's the Sounds of Blackness, I Believe. And I used to vibe to that in the 80s when it first came out. Didn't really think much of it, just liked to move to it. And then about the last 18 months or so, it's really been my jam. And it just really grounds me. And there's a great line in it says, no need asking where I've been, just ask me where I'm going.
Perfect.
Which I think.
And how long have you guys been separated?
Separated but not separated.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Not together intimately.
So when we had the discussion was September 2020. You know, when we're all living at home for far too long with each other.
Oh, yeah.
And all that truth starts to bubble to the surface and we can't not see it. We have to see it.
I think, too, during COVID, a lot of people didn't make it out.
No.
Because COVID was in your face. You couldn't go anywhere. So you had to deal with all those issues. Like if you're going to work, I don't have to deal with that person for, 8 to 12 hours, depending on how much you work.
Yeah.
And then all the kids stuff, the kids were at school, all these things. But COVID really put it in our faces like, hey, is this the person you want to spend the rest of your life? We're in a pandemic. The world is coming to an end. Is this the person I want to end up with?
Well, for me as well, it was, trying to get 2 kids schooling on, well, like most of the world.
Oh, yeah.
2 kids schooling online.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was exhausting.
Yeah.
Exhausting because everybody's in the internet. So, we lose connection a lot of the time and the kids get frustrated. It's just hard.
The family dynamic was definitely tested during COVID. Yeah. Because most people are not teachers. And, we teach our children, respect and, just the basic things of life. And we hope that teachers can give them that education that we may not be excellent in. You know, like I'm a nurse and I know all the biology stuff, but you come at me with like 4th grade math and I'm like, what? So a lot of things that people swept under the rug proverbially was brought to the surface because, you know, okay, we have to stick together because we can't see people. We can't see our family support. You know, we didn't want to get anybody sick. And, you know, then you have family members that may have gotten sick and then you can't reach out to them. So there's stresses that were just piled on and you had to either confront them. And again, I feel like a lot of marriages did not survive COVID because it was in your face and we had to adult, like you said.
But I think a lot of people aren't speaking about it either. I think a lot of people are staying. I think a lot of people are compliant. And I found I lost myself I think a lot of mums do this.
Yep.
You lose yourself as a mum, you forget who you are. And then you start rediscovering who you are and you find you've outgrown where you are. Not in a bad way, you've just outgrown, you've both gone different paths.
Yeah.
And that's hard to accept. But also it's, I know my other half said to me, you know, we couldn't have healed if we were staying together. We couldn't have been on this healing journey we're on now.
Yeah.
Separately, if we'd stayed together, we just couldn't have done it because there was too much pain.
Well, and
and it comes from bizarre places.
Yeah.
Stuff from when you're kids you don't even know.
Yeah. And
it suddenly bubbles to the surface. Yeah. You know, I found this. I'm going to go off topic, so I'm sorry.
Welcome to Divorce Devil Podcast.
Not off topic, but what I would say, speaking to when you start dating someone else, you have that flurry of excitement and it's wonderful and everything else, and you're rediscovering who you are and who someone else is and how you are with that person. But then also what you do is you discover your pain and your traumas. And what it is when you get to a space of being comfortable with another person and you trust the other person, all this
crap.
Density.
Yeah.
Okay, crap.
Yeah,
I would
crap.
say density, but we can go crap.
Yeah.
All this dense crap bubbles to the surface. And it's so easy for us to say, that's you. You bought that. You gave me that. That's all you. And it's not. It's because you're comfortable with someone else. I'm just going to look. It's really weird being on camera because I just keep wanting to get eye contact with both of you.
That's okay.
You can do whatever you want here.
I'm going to swing a lot. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what you're into. I mean, we don't judge.
But that's another program.
That's another podcast.
We don't judge pineapples.
Yes.
But let me interject here. You know, you were talking about music, and my mantra was, "Oh, Mickey, you're so fine."
You're so fine. You blow my mind.
Hey, Mickey.
Hey, Mickey.
Wow, she should
be
lady.
You're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind.
I did that song
people.
in the 3rd grade talent show at Grover Cleveland Elementary School in Rahway, New Jersey, and we came in 2nd.
I wouldn't tell anybody that.
Really?
Yeah.
So she used to do a show in the 80s, I think.
Yeah.
And in England, it used to be on a Tuesday night. My grandparents, completely off topic again, and my grandparents always used to come over on a Tuesday night. And so they'd have to sit there and watch me dancing in front of the screen.
I mean, who doesn't love a good Mickey? You know?
My God. I know.
Hey,
I love
Mickey.
her. And she still has got the grooves in her 90s. She's amazing, that woman.
Oh, yeah.
I saw her on Sunday morning. She's amazing.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Anyway, back away from Tony Faisal.
Recoil.
back to the war.
Let's just recoil.
Can we go back to let's revisit the kid thing?
Okay.
So, but eventually you guys would go separate ways.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And when I did my kid, we call that kid parenting time.
Yeah.
I did 50%.
Okay.
Half on, half off, changed on Sundays, and it worked pretty good. But it didn't start like that. She wanted 90%, and I said,
So my question is, so your new relationships, do they come to your house or do you go to their house, or how do you introduce your kids to them?
My new relationship, I go to their house.
Okay.
Our house is sacred. The family home is sacred. There's no one else comes to that house.
Okay.
That's the agreement we have, which works perfectly.
Okay.
So we take our energy out of that house, and the energy in that house is just the 4 of us and a few animals, you know.
So have the kids met the other people?
So they have met his. One of them has met mine, not both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're also
I'm
new,
super protective.
and you're new in it too.
Yes.
So it's a big deal introducing the kids to
So how
the
did
person.
you two navigate that then? I presume you're both in relationships.
When I was dating before I met Lance, my kids didn't meet any of them. Just because I got to that point where I was like,
She went through so many.
I did. I mean, I had to.
Or as somebody said to me earlier, the slut stage.
Yes.
It's hoe phase.
Now serving.
We call it the hoe phase here. Yeah, so
It's like being in the deli counter and putting a ticket.
yeah. I would
I'm
like
next.
one
I'm
of
next.
each, please.
I'm next. It's my turn.
I mean, you can get some really good salami at the deli.
Oh, really? Really?
La 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 la. I can't even put my fingers in my ears. Bugger.
I just want her to speak because I love all this,
okay.
you know. But yeah, no. So the one relationship that I had before Lance was 3 months, and I was about to introduce him, and then he dropped this bomb on me, and I was like, okay, I'm never introducing my kids to anybody ever. And then met Lance, and I met his daughter like day 5. He was just like, I guess he called his daughter and was like, I met this girl. I really like her. Will you come to dinner? And so I met her really quick. I met his dad like the first week.
Yeah.
And then it was, oh, okay, well, COVID then happened. And they met the kids. Lance met the ones that were available pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I didn't talk to my son for a while after my divorce because he was very angry. And my daughter was at college.
How old is he?
He'll be 25, and then my daughter's 21, and then my youngest is 11.
Yeah.
So he met Logan pretty quickly because I had him. Like, so whenever I was with Logan, I'm like, hey, I'm bringing Logan. He's like, okay. So the ones before this relationship, which is, you know, my baby, I was like, no. Because I wasn't doing a relationship. I wasn't going to get hurt again. I was going to hurt you before you hurt me. And then the one that lasted for about 3 months, I was like, okay, well, maybe we can go to the movies or go to the arcade or do something like that where it's not so much here's mom's boyfriend, here's this guy, you know, this is just a fun outing, you know. So
with another human, another adult person.
It's not the person that's trying to replace your dad or anything like that. So we never put that pressure on the kids. And if my kids ever said like, no, I don't want to, I would absolutely have respected that.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
You know, so
Mine were a little bit older.
Okay.
They were high school, college, and I really didn't care. So.
and you
be
get
honest.
to that point. I think you get to
there
that
you
point
go.
too.
Yeah. So,
And there we go.
yeah.
And you get to the point where you know your child. You know your child and how they're going to react to any newness, right?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you though. But there was a couple
You tell me.
that I went out with that
I'm
I
getting
could
comfortable,
tell
David.
that they weren't good for me, and I knew my daughter knew they were good for me, but she never said anything. You know, she
Right.
respected me just because she knew eventually I'd figure it out.
Right.
Hello, Dad.
You would know you like different
But you
types
have
of
to
food.
work that out for yourself. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because everybody, doesn't matter what relationship, and I truly believe this, everybody brings us something to learn
Yeah.
about another human being, but also more than anything about ourselves.
David calls
It's
that
enough-
cereal dating. He tried all the different cereals. He had to see which one was the
Did he?
flakiest, which one was dry, which one like hurt the roof of your
I kind of
mouth.
stay away from that
The
cup.
crunchy.
I'm more into the Captain Crunch.
Which
I'm
one's-
pretty
which
sure it
one's
was
good
Fruity
milk?
Pebbles.
Yeah. Oh,
Fruity
yeah.
Pebbles was his good one. But yeah, so I think you being married, like, I was married 23 and a half, 24 years.
Yeah.
And you don't
19
know
and a half,
who you
yeah.
are, like, you know, from when I was dating at 19 to dating at 45, who the hell am I? Like, what I've been through, the things I've been through in life, and all the survival things and the traumas we call, you know, I changed so much since, like,
It molds you.
since 30s, you know.
Yeah.
So I think you have to date different people and fall into the I don't like this, I like that. You know, and it's almost like a pros and cons shopping list. Like, will
Right.
I accept
Right.
any disrespect? No. Will I accept you breathing? Not today. I don't really care. You know,
Would I accept you chewing your food? Never.
Have you heard that last podcast where my daughter's like,
No.
Mom, I can't date him. He chews loud and he opens his mouth, and I'm like, okay, well that's her thing, but okay, it's
That's
hard.
hilarious.
But no,
But,
you have
but
to
she's
take
still
off
with
your
him, though,
bus.
right?
Kim?
Is she still with him?
No, that was when she was dating.
Okay.
Like, she's not dating anybody right now, I don't
Right.
think, but who knows. But I think you have to go through that proverbial checklist in your head.
Yeah,
you know, like I say all the time, like anything that resembled my ex was a no. You could have been the nicest person in the world. You could have been freaking like the
love that.
Zeus. I don't know, but you could have jumped through hoops or whatever and just been awesome. But any mannerisms, any, narcissism, any things that I was uncomfortable with or gave me that little twinge, I was like, nope, sorry.
Right.
Like I had one guy, I was at work and I didn't text him in the morning, like good morning or whatever. And it was like noon and he had texted me at like 7 and I didn't see it. And he was mad I didn't text him back. So I'm like, all right. So I text him back and he didn't text me back for like 2 hours. I'm like, oh, bye. This isn't working for me. Because I already knew that once he was mad that I didn't text him back right away. I mean, I'm busy. Like I have a job,
I have a life.
So question.
So there's a lot of,
So how do you meet somebody?
Right.
How did you meet somebody?
Okay, so it's quite a sweet
look at her
story.
smiling.
Oh, yeah, she's smiling, boy.
So it's because it's shut up. Otherwise I switch the camera off. So
is that the universal like FU?
It's just a slightly politer version.
Yeah.
We like the politer version.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, so okay. So like the majority of everyone that's looking to date, you have to go online.
Yep.
So I went online and I was looking for friendship, just looking to get out of the house really and meet people that had.
Did you use a specific app?
I use Facebook.
Okay.
I'm not proud of using Facebook.
She went old school.
I mean,
I did go old school.
New school,
I know.
old school.
Okay, because we don't know how Facebook worked. That was a little like after I was already dating. So
I'm impressed though that you figured it out.
yeah,
Okay.
same.
Yes.
Okay. So does
I'll
it like
take that, David. Thank
Yes.
you very much.
does it give you people that are like the third degree of your friends, or does it like how does it find people for you?
No, you fill out a profile like you do with anyone
So
else.
just like
Okay.
that.
So it's like
it has a dating profile.
okay.
So anyway, do you want the story?
I do.
Or shall I shut up?
No,
Oh, I love her. I love her.
Okay. So anyway, so the story is this guy's profile came up, and on the profile was this specific flower, random. And I'd had this job, and this woman said to me, "Would you like some seeds of this specific flower?" And I planted this specific flower, and it hadn't grown properly. So I saw this and reached out to him and said, "Hey, look, would you help me work out what I'm doing wrong?" Because he's a gardener. So he gave me some tips. And then I said to him, of course, and then I said to him, "Would you like to meet for a cup of tea?"
A cup of tea.
Oh my!
Cup of tea. A spot of tea.
A spot of
Spot
tea.
of tea.
So that's how we met. But we didn't start dating. We hiked a lot together for a few months, and then we started dating after that. So.
How was he with the arrangements that you had?
What of
You still
being
living with your ex?
completely fine,
Okay.
like unbelievably fine.
Okay.
So it's like a gem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You found a unicorn.
That is what we call a
Yeah,
unicorn.
that's a unicorn.
It's a mythical creature.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
They don't exist. That's a unicorn. You
So,
got lucky.
good job, girl.
Good job.
Next,
Oh my
we
gosh,
find
that's-
Care Bears.
What?
So
Next, we find the Care Bears.
So
They live in the cloud.
that's a really interesting. I suppose I'm so used to him being open to that.
Yeah.
It doesn't even occur to me.
You don't know the
how-
opposite.
Because I know when
Yes,
I was dating and I'd tell people that I was living downstairs because I couldn't afford to move out.
Yes.
They were like, "What? Are you
I
really
know.
divorced? Are you really this? Or am I just a game in your ploy? Are you going to bring me home for like a threesome? Like all this crazy
You're like,
stuff
"Yes,
that people
I
would
am."
ask me. And I'm like, no, I just didn't move out because my kids are there. And if I move out, then I'm
Right.
moving out. So is it my place to be there? And then, it took till I moved out to, you know her too. I moved out to my friend's house with her parents and all of her stuff. But I still was the outsider because I left.
Yeah.
So telling people that I still spent holidays and all of their stuff with my kids so they had a normal, people were taken aback. They were like, well,
Yep.
how
People
far are you at it?
Fascinated by
Yep.
it.
Yeah,
They are
are.
with me. If I tell them,
Yeah.
they're like, they want to pull a chair up. It's so fascinating.
It's an
Why do you think
exclusive
when I
club.
asked you, I said, wow, how are you handling it? Because I know it was hard for me because especially when I was dating living there,
Yeah.
dating out, and I would come home at like 1 or 2, he'd have me on the ring going, hey, you were out all night? What's your problem? Real moms don't do that. Like just some angry stuff from my ex because he was hurt.
Yeah.
And then, like,
That
if
was
I told
insane.
people, like, oh, I got to go home, they're like, well, where are you going home? Like, my house? They're like, well, isn't your ex there? And I'm like, yes. They're like, well, isn't that weird? I'm like, no. And sometimes we have dinner together and sometimes we do this, but I always respected our own time. So like, if it was supposed to be like my weekend with the kids, because I didn't really want to hang out with them on the weekend.
Right.
He would respect, like, hey, we're going away for the weekend, or we're going, like, say we're going to Elage's or something. He'd respect, but I'd also invite him sometimes. Be like, hey, do you want to go? We're not going as a family. We're going as a family
with the mom and dad
unit. Yeah. Like, I'm the mom, you're the dad, blah, 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 but not as like, you know, and we had fun and it was great, but a lot of people didn't understand that, like, I wasn't doing it to make you feel uncomfortable. I was doing it to make my family feel more comfortable in the situation that's really shitty.
Right. Well, it's great because my kids, well, when you find out, when you find out from another parent that your kid has said, it's great in the house now because they don't shout at each other anymore. Yep. You know you've made the right decision.
Yeah. Okay? And I think I said that before, that one of my epiphanies was, I do not want my daughter, especially my daughter, to see this bad relationship and say I got that from my parents, because I have so many past traumas from my childhood of my parents fighting that I have never dealt with. Like, fighting physically, like, makes my body hurt. Yeah. And it's because it was always tense and whatever. And as soon as someone yells or is upset, I'm like, okay, what did I do?
Your body goes straight.
I'm that 4-year-old, you know.
I was going to say, because that's the weird dynamic most people don't realize is when something like that is triggered, your whole body chemically responds and repeats what in that moment, and you go back to that age. So, like you said, 4-year-old. Mm-hmm. If that happens at 4, your whole body will feel like you're 4 again.
Well, that's
your mind, everything.
And we say too,
it's the weirdest thing.
You have to get back to that. You have to get to rock bottom to know that you're healing. And I says, you can deal with traumas a little bit at a time. You know, like I say, I always like raised my sister, and you know, I was always waiting for someone to take care of me. Yeah. But I didn't realize how much I could take care of myself.
But that's the other thing.
But that's a survival thing, because if I didn't take care of myself, I wasn't eating or sleeping or, you know, bathing and doing all the things that I was supposed to get from a nurturing mother. Yeah. That I became the mother that I needed. And I've heard that saying before, once you've healed, you become the adult that you needed as a child.
You have to parent yourself. Yeah. You have to parent your inner child. That's what's so interesting. Yeah. The dichotomy of parenting that. Yeah. And also realizing that the only person that can really love you is yourself. Yep. Yep. That's a bastard. And learning that one is because that then puts the pressure on you. Yeah. Because you can't reach out. I'm teaching my kids, don't allow anybody else. Don't fall into that trap with like the movies tell you, the lyrics tell you, of being completed by someone else. Because that's bullshit. Yep. Because you give your power away.
Yeah. Along with happiness.
Absolutely. You have to do that yourself. Yeah. And then when you step into a relationship, what you're doing...
Is he frozen on yours?
Yeah, that's okay.
Am I?
We got it. Yeah. We got you.
I'm not. Look, I am moving, I promise.
Sorry, we're just doing some technical stuff.
No, you're fine. So what I was going to say, and also unconditional love, because you can't unconditionally love anyone else until you unconditionally love yourself. Woo-woo! Right? And
welcome to the show.
And that is a like I like to say to my friends, it's like being slapped round the face with a wet fish, because it's that shit moment. Yeah. And you're like, oh my God.
I think in your situation where you have all that positivity going on, I think you can heal better and more completely.
Absolutely.
And faster.
Yes, I am such radically a different person than I would have been. I met my friend last night. I've not seen her for 8 months, and we were both like, whoa, who are you? Right. But in a great way. Yeah.
And I even mentioned to you when I saw you at our mutual friend's house, I was like, you seem lighter. Just your hair, your spirit feels lighter. I am. You know, the smile is brighter. And again, you're going through some painful shit. Absolutely. But you can tell that your spirit, your soul, whatever that is, you know, that makes us who we are, you can just feel that it's a lightness. It's not a grinding teeth, and you're not like, when am I going to cry next? Or when am I going to get yelled at? Or when is something going to happen? But if you can meet in the middle with your ex, and, you know, like I've said before, I still get along with my ex because, you know, we loved each other at a point to have children and a family and a marriage and all of our stuff. Right. And yes, shit comes up all the time. But if you can get to a place where it's not like I'm picking at you, you're picking at me, and then I'm in defense, and then you're in defense, and whose fault is it actually anyway? Right. And you're taking your piece in this situation and knowing that in the situation where before you weren't happy, and in order to get to the proverbial happy, you have to go through all the stages and all the steps and all the
absolutely
all the
I am so proud of the two of us for how we're handling this.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think
not everybody can do that.
No.
Oh my God.
And you have to step out of it, because there's a lot of times you're just angry. Like, why did I stay in it so long? Or why did I put my kids through that? Like, my big thing is, like, I never, ever wanted my kids to see what I grew up in. And I kind of gave them that. Like, my parents are divorced. Yeah. And my parents fought all the time. And there was always money stuff. And there was always this. And, infidelities and all these different things that happen. I wanted to show my kids pure love and joy and all that, but I never dealt with all the shit that as a kid it was put in front of me. Yeah. So once I stepped out of that chaos, like I say all the time, stepped out of it and looked back in, I saw like, oh wow, this is a cycle that's repeating, and the only one that's going to break it is me. So let's be the superhero.
I love that you've said that, because you have to be your own voyeur. Yeah. You have to step back and be detached from it, because that's the only time you're going to learn anything is if you do that. Yeah. But yeah, it gives you an opportunity to see your own flaws. Yeah. But it also gives you the opportunity, like when I regress back to my old pain, that used to scare the shit out of me. Yeah. But now, for me, I see it as it being an opportunity to see how far I've come. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of self-love, a lot of self-forgiveness, a lot of self-compassion has to go with it too. Yeah. And that's really hard to do to begin with, and really foreign. Especially when you've been with somebody for so long and you're used to listening to that input in your life. So now did you and your husband... But now I listen to my input first. Yeah. Now default, you're brought up to listen to a man. That's what society tells you to do. Oh, especially our generation, yeah. Did you guys meet here or in England or... What? Are you from... Oh, yeah. No, we transferred over. Okay. Okay. So, no, he came with me. The two of us came over with our dog in 2003. Okay. That was it. And so do you think that, in England there's a different expectation of divorce?
What's the divorce stigma in England? But
you know what? It's really interesting because people ask me so much about that, and I can't really speak to it because I've been gone so long. Okay. But I think it would have been so radically different because I would have had, and he would have had, our family around us. Okay. Because being here, we never, my friends here have vacations without their kids. My friends back in England have vacations without their kids. So they have time, just the two of them. Yep. We never had the opportunity here because we didn't have anybody here. Yeah. And so that's an interesting dynamic. I think it would have been completely different. Is there a stigma there? About divorce? A divorce, yeah. Do you stay together because you got married? I don't believe so. I don't believe so.
Is the divorce rate lower?
Do you know what? I don't even know, actually. Oh, okay. Look it up. I was going to say, I think you need to do a bit of Googling. Don't do Google, though. Do DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo. They don't want the government to know. So anyway, but for the longest time, I think my other half and I was saying, we think for years ago we should have stepped up into this, but we weren't ready to do that because we were still under that cloud and that ruse that was sold of you stick it out. You got to make it work. Yeah. You stick it out. And my mum had passed a few years back, and that was hugely instrumental in my seeing my truth. That was hugely pivotal for me. Yeah. And I was worried about telling. It's interesting because I was asked by so many people, who have you talked this over with? Nobody. Well, who have you run it past? Nobody. I've run it past with myself.
Like you're supposed to get permission.
But also, I spent a long time thinking about this, and this might be a bit woo-woo for some of you, but it's coming out of me anyway. So
you like woo-woo.
Do you? Okay, here we go then. So Kyle, Gray, Gray, is an amazing guy, Scottish guy, beautiful guy, very spiritual, and he talks about this thing called cord cutting. Okay, I don't know if you've heard this.
Yep.
And it's etherical. You have cords. I think I spoke to you when we saw each other about this. Mm-hmm. So you have cords, and you're like this little octopus, and you have cords, and they go out to here, there, and everywhere. But they also come into you. And we have them with all relationships. We can have them with strangers. It can be with places, people, memories. So what you do is you cut your cords. And when you cut your cords, so I do this pretty regularly. You cut your cords. When you cut your cords, you then detach from that energy, but it gives the opportunity for new energy to grow in. So a better relationship.
Parking spaces.
Yes, it's the same thing.
Parking space.
So David
we'll
tell you about parking spaces when you're done.
Okay. So anyway, so you cut your cords. And so that's why I didn't have to talk about it with anybody, because I had, I know, I had a conversation with myself, with my higher self. Is this in my best interest? Yes, this is. So I started cutting my cords, and it cut me from pain. It cut me from heavy memories I didn't want to revisit. And so I found a lot of my memory. It's the weirdest thing, because I feel like I've lost my memory, but it's not. I've just cleared memory. I've cleared space. And when you clear space in yourself, you allow goodness to come in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Boom.
Okay.
So you allow the goodness to come in. You make space for that, and everything that was heavy and dark, you release that, and suddenly you can then hold that space. You cleanse that space, and you hold it sacred, and you allow the goodness to come in. It's like when you take somebody out of your life, there's space for somebody new to come in your life.
Yes.
Right?
You got it.
Right?
We just had that conversation in the last podcast together about cutting relationship ties and stuff.
Yes, yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then
We're not going to make eye
Did we have
contact
that
with
today?
David. Because
Don't look. I can see him from here. He's got good eyes too. Anyway.
he hasn't danced yet, though.
Hasn't he? Oh, count me in. And then the other thing I did is it's called Purge Emotional Writing. And you set a timer for 12 minutes. I can't remember that there's a guy, I read it in a book.
Okay.
I think it's called The Cleanse, but it's about emotional cleansing.
Yeah.
It's Purge Emotional Writing. And you set a timer for 12 minutes. If that feels overwhelming, you do it for less, so like 9, 6 minutes, whatever. Always a multiple of 3, because they're magic numbers. Just saying. And then set the timer, and then don't type it. Do not, under any circumstances, type it. This has to be an energetic thing. So you purge your words. You get a pen, you get paper, and you write like crazy. And to begin with, you don't know what you're going to write. You just write what's frustrating you, your pains, your anger, where you are in life, what's pissed you off, what's pissing you off now. And the more you write, the easier it is. But your writing...
That's pissing me off.
Right? Your writing is illegible, and that's perfectly okay, because when the alarm goes off, under no circumstances do you read it. No circumstances whatsoever. You go outside and you set light to that bastard, and you burn it, and it just releases all of that stuff out of your brain. So you're releasing it. You're purging it, so it's going out of your brain, through your hands.
Kind of like podcasting.
Yeah. Down onto the paper, and then you release that into the universe.
Yeah.
Do not read it, because otherwise you're taking that energy back in. It's like swallowing vomit. And I'm sure we do not want to do that.
No, we don't want to do that.
Never done that before.
Yes.
No.
Yes, I haven't. Don't ever want to try that.
I love the different ways people heal. Like, I always talk about journaling, and journaling sometimes was mindless, but it became mindful when I knew that there was a pattern of my journaling. So like, I would write in the morning. I'd try to write it at night. You know, when I wake up in the morning, if I had like a dream or something, I tried to jot that down just so I knew like what is my chaos is.
Yeah.
I think every time you speak it too, because like I'm speaking it out, right? I'm telling you my story. I'm doing this. That it goes out to the energy and like
it does,
and into the universe, and you don't have to take that back in. I found that a lot of my blame stuff went to other people but it was how I reacted to other people.
Right.
So, like, I always say I was a doormat for so long. I would
Right.
just take in people's toxic, and
Yeah.
I would try to fix people. And, you know, I always thought I wasn't good enough, so let me make someone better. Like, let me help them get better, so then
Right.
they're better around me. And I think through writing, and then, you know, now eventually podcasting, it gets my thoughts out. And then when I read them before I send them out to when I listen to the podcast again, I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't realize how much that bothers me.
Right.
Or how much that affects me.
Right.
And now I can either work on it, I can let it go.
Yeah.
David would say parking spaces. So so say you're like a high-rise parking lot.
Yep.
And you have different levels of people. So like
Right.
level 1 is your family, your friends, your tribe.
I love
Level
this.
2 is something
I like
else.
visuals.
You know, and you keep going like, and as you work your space up, you know, or down, whatever way you want to be in the penthouses, not on top, whatever. As you remove some of those unneeded cars from those parking spaces,
Yeah.
you allow other goodness to come in, and then you can be more selective on who's driving into your parking lot.
Yeah.
So, some of mine are holding on to friendships too long, you know, holding on to like having to raise my sister. I had an alcoholic mom and she's passed away, and I never really got to tell her I forgive her, but I didn't
Right.
need to forgive her. I needed to learn why she was the way she is.
Right.
And now that I know why she had some of the issues she had,
Right.
it was generational. So
Yeah.
now my brain, I'm like, I'm the one that broke a generational curse in the maternal side
I'm
of
doing that now.
my maternal side of my mom. Many generations back were abused, and women are, you know, property and all that other stuff. And, you know, you should be seen and not heard. And, well, no, like, I want everybody to have the same feeling of happy all the time.
Right.
But I can't make other people happy if I'm not happy.
It's not your responsibility.
And so, you know, I'm trying to teach my kids, follow your dreams, do things you love, like podcasting. I cannot wait for podcast day. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so
I'm
excited.
very excited about this.
You know, and so you get to, and like we say, if we help one person, if I help one person, that person says, hey, listen to this podcast. And then I have a guest on now because
Right.
she's listened to the podcast. We spoke, you know, now she's able to heal. And if she, you know, you can now listen back to what you've said.
Yeah.
And see how far you've come in just the last, you know, couple
And
months.
also, well, like you said about you put it out in the universe.
Yeah.
And it lands somewhere. It's like you're planting a seed.
Yeah.
That seed might sit in the darkness for the next month,
And then
2 months.
much better if you date a gardener.
And he
Bingo.
helps your flower grow.
I listen. I'm listening.
And it helps
And
it blossom.
And
Yeah.
absolutely. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of different ways that people can heal, and you know, talking to someone who's newly in it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be 2 years in July that I'm divorced,
Yeah.
but I've been dealing with it for about 4 or 5 years.
Party. Happy hour. Happy hour party.
When I, you know, so going
Dance off.
Yep.
I mean, random dance parties are my favorite. I mean, let's go.
Oh, yes, please.
Let's go. So, I mean, you can see your growth even when this comes out, when
Yeah.
you listen to it, you'll
Yeah.
see your growth in what you're becoming and
Yeah.
healing, and
Yeah.
you know, just finding a safe place is a really big deal.
Right.
And so you're saying, you know, cutting cords and parking spaces, and we have all these ways to heal. You don't have to go through this alone. You don't have to go through this process alone. And, you know, you said you haven't filed for the big D yet,
Yeah.
but you're working to heal yourself before you're just going to sign a paper that says that, you know,
Yeah,
legally we're not bound. Where a lot of people are working through their anger, as they're going through the divorce. So
That's why I think this is where I am now is such a blessing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I processed that all before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't wear it. I don't wear that
Exactly.
heaviness.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, you know, it's not, I am.
Not like we did.
right.
No.
Yeah.
And again,
Oh, don't get me wrong. I've worn it, you know, with flowers and whistles and bows and
Yeah.
party sparklers on.
Yeah.
But I don't wear it anymore. You know, I don't.
it doesn't burden you.
Yes. It's not, you know, I'm angry, I'm sad. It's now, you know, I've got anger sitting with me. So it like sits next to me. That's the other thing too. It sits next to me and sits with me.
Yeah. It's your shadow, kind of.
Yeah. And the other thing I was going to speak to as well when you were saying about being an empath earlier is so often we carry other people's emotions and we don't realise we are.
Yep.
That's the other thing. I realised that sometimes I wake up in the morning and I have sadness, and I'm, where the heck did that come from?
Yep.
Didn't say fuck, you're lucky.
Oh, well, you just did.
Oh, God.
But it's okay. We say it all the time.
I know. But,
That was funny. Oh, my
but,
And I called her right out.
right. Well, I knew I did.
I know you did.
But, so,
Your heaviness of other people's energy.
thank you. 'Cause
You're welcome.
Now I've just said the F word, it's completely obliterated my memory.
I mean, did you just get
blanked
here?
it out. I know, sorry. So when you're an empath, so I get up in the morning and I have all this, and go through my day and suddenly get this wave of energy over me, sadness. And I'm like, where the heck did that come from? That's the other thing too. And I think so many people do this. And you're welcome, because I'm going to teach you something else.
Love her.
So the other thing is, I just ask the universe, and I just put my hands on my heart and I say, release the energy and density that belongs to others and return it to source with light and love.
Nice.
Because it's like wearing somebody else's heavy lead coat. It doesn't belong to you, but you can wear it. It doesn't fit you,
Yeah.
but you can wear it. And for so many years I did wear it.
Yeah.
And once you do that, and then after a few moments, you're like, oh, my God, it's gone. Where did it go? And that has been transformational for me, because I would, also I'd, being in a house with your partner and their heaviness, or your kids, whoever, you take that on as your own, and it's not yours.
And you feel as the mom, you're supposed to fix things.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure dads do too, but dads are more of like, they're the physical fixers and the moms are the emotional fixers, I think, a lot of times. Yeah. So, like, if I were to go to my mom was I don't have time right now. Right. Where my dad was like my best friend, and he'd try to do it, but he'd want to okay, how do I fix your broken heart? Oh, I don't know. Put some oil in there. I don't know what happens. So it was always like change the subject, throw a dad joke in there. Yeah. And so I would always laugh through my pain. Yeah. And I still do that. Yeah. Because I don't want anybody to see my sadness, because I'm a happy person. I'm not supposed to be sad. But to come to the realization that I'm allowed to be sad. But I'm also, like you said, I always say, I feel people's energies pretty quickly, or if I know we're going to get along, or if you have something or why are you acting like that? What's wrong? Are you okay? Or do you need a hug? One of those. Yeah. Yeah. I always call them the energy hitchhikers, where they're like, okay, I'm going to carry you as far as I can, but you're getting heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier. And I'm like, I can't deal with your shit.
But he also ain't your brother.
There you go.
Exactly. So I can't carry your burdens when I have my own, but I'm willing to help you see that you have your burdens. And, and as a nurse, I heal physically, but I also can feel, how you're feeling.
Okay. So I'm just going to speak to that when you say you're going to help people help you heal.
Yeah.
That's the interesting other dynamic as you get older. You realize not everybody's ready to see their shit.
Yeah. You got to own your shit too.
Yes.
Yeah.
But not everybody's willing to see it. And you can see it so radically, being detached from it.
Yeah.
But they can't see it. And that's okay. Because for the longest time, I couldn't see my own shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but that's an interesting thing to learn. But yeah.
Oh, I think there's times that we're not ready to see our own shit.
Oh, yeah.
You can tell some.
Kind of run from it. You're like, whoa, okay.
You can say it 1,000 times to someone. Like I always say, for my son is very competitive. If he's playing baseball right now, if he doesn't get a hit, it's the world's over. Everything's done. I go, but did you have fun? Did you try to swing? Did you do this? You hit the ball, you got to first base. Yeah. You may not have got a score, but did you have fun? And all that stuff. And
don't look at the lack.
And it took a lot of repetition of baseball should be fun. You're 11.
Yeah.
He doesn't plan on being, a major league baseball player.
Right.
He's doing it just to stay active for hockey.
Yeah.
And so, it took me saying 1,000 times, blah, 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 blah. One time, Lance says something to him, and he goes, oh, okay. Of course. So I'm like, wait, is it just my tone? Is it my relationship with him? Is it something? It was someone else saying, I'm proud of you that you had fun, that you did this, you didn't get stuck because the whole bench was being negative and others, and Lo just sitting there oh, what? And so it took Lance saying, we're really proud of you not getting sucked into the negativity. Yes, you were upset that you didn't hit the ball, but there were some strikes. You swung the ball at some strikes. Okay, great. You didn't get a score on the board, but you were a player in this game,
Yes,
right?
you're a member of a team.
You can't hear your shit until you're ready to listen to that inner.
Maybe from somebody else other than your mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so
that's the truth.
Oh, I didn't hear anything my mom said. It was like, no, because I didn't feel like she was that protective adult. Right. And so anything she says like wasn't benefiting me. It probably was. I mean, I've learned how like some of my attributes, like I can draw and all sorts of stuff. My mom was very crafty. I have those things.
Okay, crafty as in made things, or crafty as a crafty?
Oh, all. Like, I'm pretty sure my mom was like some kind of like healer witch person. Like she could like make remedies in your bed. But anyway, I have a lot of that, you know, inner feelings of like, I can help you with my words. I can help you through the situations I've been through. I can give you an example. But I can't help you help yourself unless you're willing to be helped. And I think that's why the podcast works for me and David so much, is because we felt it and we didn't really have anybody to turn to. And, you know, when you're going through a nasty divorce, or if you're going through something like, you know, living together and all these other things that have to happen. Like, we don't have any family here, like, my family is my children. Yeah. And so when I didn't have them, I was all alone. Even in a relationship, I felt all alone. And the podcast helps me see that I'm not alone. I have a group of people, village, you know, and we may not know them personally, but if I can help you get through your day, because, you know, like you said, today I'm going to cord cut because I heard Melissa on the podcast saying this. I'm not sure how to do it, but if I DuckDuckGo it, I may be able to figure out how that is, and or who's the author that she talked to, and we have lots of resources just being human.
Right.
But we also need help sometimes, and it's hard to ask for that. So I think that's why we love doing what we do, because we learn stuff all the time just from talking to each other. Well,
the thing is, you're a catalyst for each other.
Yeah.
Because,
Soundboards,
yeah, you bounce off each other. And then because you're bouncing off each other, you bounce deeper. It gets deeper, and they're like, oh, my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah, when David's right, I really fucking hate it. I hate it. And I just ignore him, and I don't make eye contact.
No connection at all.
No, I know. No. We suck. We should probably not do this anymore. We have no connection.
In fact, it's so embarrassing.
Let's ask the big question.
Okay.
Oh, God. Go on, then.
Forgiveness.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
Okay. It's called No Fucks.
No fucks.
Okay.
Give no fucks. That's what she calls
Episode 47.
Okay. Now, this is really interesting because she and I had a conversation about this when we met. And we have radically different.
No way. Say it isn't so.
Radically different. Okay. Forgiveness 101. So this is my forgiveness, okay? We forgive, but we don't. It's not about forgetting. It's about forgiving. When we forgive, it's about creating space in us again.
I'm out. Goodbye.
I know. Just go pee or something.
I know.
Just
creating space. Parking spaces.
Wow, look at how the
it's
world
all about
works.
space. Yeah. Forgiveness is 100% about.
I call bollocks.
I know. You can call testicles whatever you want.
How did we go from?
I'm just calling bullshit.
Well,
whatever.
She said bollocks, which is testicles.
Testicles.
The word bollocks is
bollocks.
Testicles. Did you?
It's an English word for
bollocks
testicles.
I just learned something.
Well, there you go.
You're welcome.
That's going to be the chapter.
I call bullshit.
Bollocks.
Okay, I call yes. No, so I need to look straight in the camera
because she wants to hypnotize you.
I do.
Some forgiveness.
Oh, okay. We go. Ooh, straight on camera because this is I think super important. Straight in the glass. This, in fact, is so important. I'm going to have to.
Oh wow! I need some tea.
I'm going to have to waggle my glasses.
This is the tea right now, people.
Right. Okay. So this is important. Okay. So you've got to be in a specific space for this, though. You've got to have got to this space. Forgiveness is for yourself. It's not. Stop yawning, David. I saw you. No. It's not all about the other person at all. It's not for the benefit of the other person. It's for the benefit of yourself. So I'm trying not to look at you out the corner of my eye.
She's trying to flip me off.
I know. Hang on. We're just not alert.
Two against one.
La, 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 la. So anyway, the forgiveness, the big F word, one of my favourite F words. Yeah, anyway. So forgiveness. I will get there in a minute. So you do it for yourself. It's not for the benefit of the other person. it's for the benefit of yourself. Because when you do that, again, it's this lead coat analogy. She's putting faces, la, 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 la. So I was going to have not look. I have a...
forever. You better stop.
I was going to say, because in a minute, she's going to be getting the editing. She's going to cut this all out. So I better be really quick. So forgiveness is for yourself. It makes space in you. I have this thing that I use. It's like parking spaces, but I have a visual shelf on the wall and mason jars. And I keep everything in a mason jar, and I take the lid off it. I look in it. I refer to it. Oh, yeah, what did I learn from that? Okay, yeah, forgave that. Put the lid back on, shove it on the shelf. Doesn't take space in my body, in my
goddamn
spiritual body
spaces
anymore. I just use it for that. I shelve it, and I can refer to it when I need to, put the lid on, put it back.
So do the mason jars ever get tossed?
No,
removed, they're always there.
No, they're just there. It's just for
because you don't forget.
It's a point of reference. Exactly. It's not about forgetting it. It's about learning, and then
la, la, la,
yeah.
la, la, la. I still like my $0 given. No, I don't want to forgive. I don't need to forgive. I don't like it.
I am going to go buy some mason jars today.
You don't have to. You don't have to. It's a mental thing. You just have it. You just close your eyes and you visualize.
I need that.
Oh, okay. Do you? Or you could. I suppose you could do those little ones, couldn't you? And you could write it on there and put it in there. But the thing is, different times I take that lid off, I learn different things from it. So it's like this stored memory.
So is that new forgiveness or learned forgiveness? Like, okay, I've already forgiven you. Now I'm opening up the jar again. Do I have to re-forgive you in order to get to the next step?
It's just so you look back and you think, okay, what did I learn from that?
Yeah, I give no fucks.
That I've not forgotten.
I still give no fucks.
This. I know, but I know. La, 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 la.
No, but we appreciate it too, because a lot of people may not have my, I don't want to say.
Nobody.
No. Okay, well, if you want to forgive, that's on you. But my whole, mine only is the word forgiveness. Anytime in my life when someone has hurt me and I forgive them, I feel like I'm allowing them to hurt me again. So, but it's easier to give no fucks because I know what I'm dealing with when I meet that person. If I let that person stay in my life, right? If I know them, I now know here's that wall I have up. I'm going to protect myself from you. I'm only going to give you the generalizations of my life. I'm not going to give you any depth because I've given no fucks. If I forgive you, I'm allowing all your shit to come back in.
No, giving no fucks is not forgetting. That's exactly what that is.
So fuck off. I want to give no fucks.
Okay, say that again, David.
Giving no fucks has nothing to do with forgiveness. It's not forgetting.
But I don't forgive them for being shitty to me. Because in my brain, if I forgive you...
You're not giving them a
parking space, I know.
No, you're not giving them like a
leverage.
Leverage? A pass to hurt you. They've already hurt you.
Yeah.
So you got to get past that.
Yeah, because that is not going to change.
Yeah. It hurts there. So once you get past that hurt, you move to no fucks, which is also means don't forget.
But a no fucks to me generally is like, you are now getting limited space in my life. Forgiveness means you got all access again because I've forgiven you.
That's not true.
Okay, so then I'm not there yet because I have a lot of people who say they're sorry, but they never prove to me that they're sorry. But yeah, I'm expected to, because I've forgiven them, be the same person I've been always, even though they're still shitty. And it's mostly family. It's mostly like,
of course it is.
I want to be involved in my niece and nephew's life. I don't talk to my sister. My life is so much better. Well, my sister calls me the only time I talk to my sister is to tell her that someone has died, someone's getting married, or, I'm sending money to my niece who you need to take the money out because I'm sending her a gift. So that's the only time I talk to my sister.
Right.
And anytime I reach out, it's okay. Whatever. Yeah. But she was shitty to me, and I'm actually being nice enough to tell you, hey, Auntie died.
Because you have...
I don't have to do that.
Because you have unrealistic expectations. She's not going to change. The fact that you're mad every time you talk to her, that means you have unrealistic expectations.
I'm not mad at her anymore. I'm mad at the situation we were putting as children, and I'm the one who's dealt with it, and now I'm in a better space, she's still stuck because of the adults in our life.
Okay.
So I'm angry at people that are passed away. They can't change it. So now she's the way she is because of learned stuff, but I'm the one having to fix everything.
Okay, so I'm going to bring in another word. Okay.
Man, she's like a teacher up at
I love her.
Okay,
She
so-
comes on back more.
I love this. This is brilliant. So, so we did the F word. So now we're going to do the C word.
Cunt. Oh, no, not that one.
Oh my God.
Can't?
Cancel.
C-A-N.
Compassion.
Ah, fuck.
Right. Compassion.
Yeah, but who has compassion for me, though? When I'm the
Doesn't
one...
matter.
I want some recognition for my compassion.
You have to have
I
compassion.
can't be
for
the
yourself.
only one that is this aggressive with forgiveness.
Everything's
So-
for yourself. She's so right.
Yeah,
Everything's for
you have
yourself.
to have compassion for yourself, but not only that, these people that you need to forgive, you haven't forgotten. You know,
We're making eye
fault.
contact.
Have not forgotten.
I got you.
Because
Because I'm going to cry. And you said you were going to cry. Your
Well, I
tissues
know.
are for you, and why am I going
I
to
know.
cry?
She's too busy dropping knowledge to cry, man.
She
She's like,
is.
boom.
Where's that mic drop?
So compassion, okay?
Yeah.
This is where the compassion sits in a parallel lane with forgiveness, I think. Because when you forgive somebody, that it's usually they've come from a space of pain or a space of trauma. And because they can't deal with that, they spew that. When you know they're spewing it,
But why am I always the target?
but,
Because I'm
So?
empathetic?
well, no, because they're safe with you.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to... No. Who am I safe with?
Well, so
Listen,
So when-
I'm going to be... I feel like I'm turning into a narcissist right
I
now.
know. Listen to
no,
yourself.
you're not. No, you're not at all.
I'm turning into...
But
No,
when
because...
you- but when you have this compassion, it changes it because, you know, when these bad, you know, okay, it's like not my monkey, not my circus, not my shit.
Ooh, who
not,
says that?
Not my shit.
David.
Not my shit, not my show is what I do.
Yeah.
So when something's coming, if I'm with somebody that I know is going to be volatile verbally or whatever, I just stand there and in my mind I go, not my shit, not my show, not my shit, not my show. And it's like putting up a barrier.
It's like
And
wearing a
so-
condom in the day.
You can't even see if it glows in the dark. It's
I
in the
mean,
day.
could be
What a
flavored.
waste of
I don't
money.
know.
What a waste of money.
I've got so many questions for that.
I'm wearing my protective
That's a
condom.
whole different one. And
No
I'm not
one's
going to be
gonna
on that one. I
penetrate.
don't want to know about that one. Thank you. So anyway, the compassion is because I know I've hurt other people and I've done things that need to be forgiven.
Yeah.
But it's because I came from a space of pain and trauma. Mm-hmm. And it's trauma. It's so weird when you say the word trauma because it's like supposed to be this, people think it's got to be this huge, magnificent thing, you know.
Yeah.
I fell off my bike and lost half my leg and all the rest of that stuff. And it's not at all. It's trauma is what makes you go inwards.
Yeah.
Is what makes your soul retract.
I think trauma, too, is the thing that shakes up your energy, shakes up the, you know, your wholeness. So my
Yes,
wholeness
yeah.
is, you know, I'm a physical healer, but I also think that, you know, I can make people feel better through laughter or through the things that I've gone through. Just if I explain a trauma that I've gone through and saying, you know what, I came out on the other side educated and, you know, I feel like there's hope. I feel like hopeful,
just gonna use the word
educated.
hope, yeah.
And so if I can get through it, being through all the shit I've been through, most people can get through it.
Yeah.
Because I'm just this simple nurse living her best life right now, trying to make the world a better place.
Right.
But when I have all these negative things that have come at me my whole life, I don't feel like I want to forgive that. I embrace it. I embrace all the shit you gave me because look where I'm at. We're on a podcast and I'm learning and all that. But I think the word forgiveness has always been empty.
Right.
So when someone says they're sorry,
What do you mean empty for you?
yeah. I'm all like, oh, they said they were sorry. Like, yeah,
But
great.
I'm sorry, it had nothing to do with forgiveness.
Well, I'm learning that.
know.
But
I'm
I think
sorry is a
sorry
word
is
that's
so empty.
too easily thrown around.
Yeah, and no one has ever really proven to me that they're sorry. It's always expected because I forgave them that they can act the same way. And I say doormat because repeatedly, you know, insanity is repeated actions and, you know, no change of what you're doing. I became insane with that people, oh, well, that's just how they are, or that's, you know, that they don't do that. And I think I realized that they had other issues that they were projecting at me, but like, at what point does someone say, like, you know what, I hurt you and I'm sorry for what I did and I don't know how to make it better, but, you know, what can I do to make you feel like I'm sorry? And it's always like, sorry. You know, so there's a lot of shit that goes into that forgiveness for both sides. And I know that it's for me, but I don't want to forgive. I want to give no fucks. You're out of my life. You're done. I put up the walls. I get it. And like we said, my walls are less, you know, rebarby and concrete. Yep. They're more soft. But the word forgiveness to me has been such a negative connotation that I just am like, no, I don't want to hear it.
Let's wrap this.
Okay. Cynical.
A bit. Hold on. So we're going to go around the room.
Okay.
And we're going to ask each of us what touched you. Okay, what was the most important thing that you said that if you could pick one thing to tell the viewers, listeners, what would it be?
Warren.
And one listener, viewer, Warren. And then we're going to tell you our favorite. I know what my favorite is. It's pretty easy so far. So let's go with.
You start because I have no idea what you're talking about.
So out of all the things she said, and there were the myriad of things.
I mean, we got educated today.
Cutting cords. That's my favorite. Cutting cords, parking spaces.
Okay.
Clearing your mind.
Full body. Doing that, I've done that for 2 years. It's transformational. And you saying that is just giving me full body goosebumps.
Yeah.
Because it's
your hair is standing up on your.
Have we said the same thing that we're on the same page?
Yeah. Look at her. She's like really into it.
It's transformational. It truly is. It's something so simple. Kyle Gray, cord cutting, YouTube. 3 minutes. Just invest 3 minutes in yourself.
We'll put the link.
I'll put that link at the bottom.
Please.
I mean,
thank you, doctor.
I mean, I know. I mean,
all right,
I'm just the talent.
So now you ready?
No, I'm not ready.
Okay. So what's the one thing
from this podcast
told
that hits the deepest of someone who's separated, lives with their ex, is in a relationship, has the children, you've dealt with your traumas. The whole podcast, what was the one thing that you think resonated? Yeah, that can help the most.
What that either of you have said?
Any of us.
No,
yourself?
You said,
yeah.
You said a lot.
What do you think your biggest,
I know, I did.
What do you think your biggest helping thing was?
This is a long one. I'm sorry, people. Actually, I'm not sorry. I'm excited. I think.
Better be thinking over there.
Okay. Knowing that what comes out of the other person's mouth is their pain and has nothing to do with you.
Okay.
I think once you grasp that, once you find, that's why I was saying about compassion just now. Because once you grasp that, you can be compassionate for the other person. And that changed the whole dynamic of that relationship. Even if they don't know it, it changes how you perceive that relationship. Yeah, I think.
Okay.
All right, Rachel, keep it short.
Yeah, because I use that all the time.
No, we love you. Mine actually is not allowing other people's energy and shit to be that weighted down lead coat, like you said.
Yeah.
You know, the energy hitchhikers. You can't take on the world if you can't take on yourself.
Right.
So you need to release all that. Figure out your shit. I say it all the time. Be in your shit and to know what is your actual shit. Like that may not be your stuff. Like a lot of my stuff is my mom's, my grandmother's, my great grandmother's shit that has been passed down. And I was like, nope, that's the end of that cycle.
Okay.
And
so when you say that, when you heal that, you heal backwards to your descendants.
Yeah.
And you heal forwards as well to your offspring.
And
I'm buying you some mason jars.
listen, I'm gonna mason jar like my life.
Yeah.
Because
I'm buying you little mini mason jars and put little.
Could you make sure they're rose gold?
Little post-it.
Thanks. I mean, I would like them to be pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, the makeup and hair budget's really shit, so
I still
mason
want
jar
to
should
take
be.
a mason jar and slam it against the wall. But you're right.
We do need
Keep it.
we need to do the Divorce Devil episode at the Rage Room. You ever hear of that? You go and you just smash shit.
Yes.
We need to go to a Rage Room.
Yeah,
but yeah, so
we can't smash it.
I can smash. No, I'm not talking about the mason jars. I'm talking about the shit that they have.
Perhaps you should just go and video it and then put an excerpt of it on there.
I mean,
You could do that.
maybe the Smash place will sponsor us and we'll get rich and I won't have to go to a day job.
Well, everyone, thank you for listening. We haven't done an hour podcast in a long
Sometimes you need it.
time.
What is that face? You froze on my thing with
I know. You're frozen, but I think it's going to be okay.
We'll be fine. Yeah, so I think mine definitely is not allowing other people's negative energy, whatever that is, to hold on to you, because you have to, like you said, you said a lot of profound things that we say, but not in such an elegant way.
Yeah, elegant way.
And a lot of times is, as a nurse, I want to heal people generally, all of you.
Right.
As a human, I need to heal my spirit, my soul, my energy. And a lot of times I take on other people's stuff so I don't have to deal with mine. And I think divorce does that. You're like, I don't want to deal with divorce. Let me fix everybody else. And so I think
because you want to distract from the pain. Because it's going to cause pain wherever you are.
I think this is such a good podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
I got a lot of homework, man.
Dude, you got some links.
Wait, hold on.
Dave's got notes. What the hell?
You really got notes.
He does. He adds like links and he does like the timeline and all that on YouTube and stuff.
Okay.
Again, we thank you so much for being here, and we had some knowledge tea. We had a lot of tea here today. We got the truths, we got the verbiage to go along with all of our parking space and cutting cords. I'm totally gonna go watch that thing because I got some cords that need to be cut. Shut it, David. And
I love how you haven't even opened your mouth. I'm just like, don't even go there.
I can see him looking at me through the computer.
I know.
Dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope we helped somebody. And Melissa, you are welcome back anytime with your truth knowledge and
Oh my God, I
love
loved it.
and light, love and light and intentions. And, I'm so into the spiritual realm of things and, finding your space. And not everybody's going to relate to all of it, but if there's a piece of it, cut the cords of the past, cut the cords of the things that don't hold any truth with you anymore, and just be you. Be happy, be love, be light, just, I don't know.
I know cord cutting freaks a lot of people out because they're like, oh my God, I'm going to be detached. But what it does is it gives you the opportunity to grow a clean, fresh, new cord.
To someone else.
And I have grown such a better cord to my soon-to-be ex. I've worked on it. We've both worked on it, but we're like different people.
Much better place.
At first, I was a little confused because I used to say that my ex-husband's umbilical cord was still attached to his mom because he loved her more than anybody in the world. That's a whole different story. But the cord cutting is, releasing that toxic relationship, releasing that, hold that, people, a lot of people made me feel guilty for leaving, but I needed to. And that was a cord of,
I've got one final question for Melissa.
Oh, okay.
So have you found yourself gravitating to people who are getting divorced or going through divorce?
Have I? No, I haven't actually.
Because you've been busy, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very protective of my energy. Who gets in it?
Well, thank you for sharing it with us because it definitely was
We
fun.
feel honored.
I've
I feel honored.
thoroughly
Thank you for
enjoyed
coming
it.
down.
I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, and we know it was a far ride, and we appreciate it, and we love to have guests, and look at that, man.
Yes.
We learned you did some stuff,
With a spot.
and we said the fuck. We said the
Next time
fuck.
we're going to get a spot of tea. I like sugar in my tea. By the
Oh,
way.
do you? Okay, I'll bring some. I'll bring a
Yes.
selection.
I mean, you just stir your finger in there, sugar.
Oh, really? Oh,
Wait, are you a sugar daddy? I needed some.
That's another game.
Have me show you pictures of my feet.
See, that one just wrapped around. But thank you, everybody, for listening to Divorce Stuff, episode 79 with Melissa and what's your name?
Fuck.
Rachel and
Diva. Divorce diva.
Yeah. We'll see you on the next go round. Have a good night.
Goodbye.
God, that was great.
That was so good.
That was fucking amazing.